Hi, I'm Dr. Kathleen Hall, and today, on The Way I See It, I'd like to talk about breaking the cycle. It's over, move on. We're beginning a new year, and what I really see is people go from, week to week, month to month, year to year, and it becomes such a safe cycle or a consistent cycle or whatever. One of the good things, or if there's anything good about COVID, is it truly broke up our cycle and made us reflect a lot on our life. But I have used this tool for many, many, many years, and I call it break the cycle. It's over, move on. And what I like to do is the last week of December, first week of January, talk about the previous year. So that would be 2020. And then what I like to do is, and I call it completing and remembering 2021. Then what I like to do is talk about creating your next year, which would be creating 2021. And what it is it's some questions. So if you have a piece of paper, a pen, or can record this, it's really an amazing document and an amazing experience. We have done this with our children. I do it. I have two tribes of women that are friends of mine that we meet weekly. I do it in my tribal groups. We do it every year. A couple of neighbors and I get together after the first year. We do it every year. And the nice thing is if you do it with someone else, your spouse, partner, family, friends, coworkers, somebody you trust and like, is you both will help inspire each other and kind of keep yourself on the path and be accountable. So anyway, let's start out. Completing and remembering 2020, which is a year all of us will surely remember. So, and what it is I have some questions written out. So let's go down these. And again, if you can write them down, if you can record them, that'd be great. First is, what was your biggest triumph of 2020? What was it? Did you write poetry you never wrote? Did you get to stay home with COVID and get closer to your family? Did you change jobs? What was your biggest triumph? Did you fall back in love with your partner or spouse again? Did you learn to garden? I don't know. But please ask yourself first, what was your biggest triumph in 2020? Next, what was your biggest loss in 2020? What was it? What did you lose? What was something that broke your heart? Something you grieved over? Something you lost? Again, anything like a job, a relationship, a house, something small. It could be something very minuscule, but what was your biggest, minuscule meaning to other people, but this is your loss, okay? What was your biggest loss in 2020? The next three is, what was the smartest decision you made in 2020? What was the smartest decision you made in 2020? And for someone like me, who is older and, of course, married to a medical doctor, my daughter's a medical doctor, all kinds of things. Mine, I would have to say, probably was being extra careful, whether it was my N95 mask, my goggles, my gloves, about not going out, because I did not get COVID, and I have been meticulous and very, very careful. So I would have to say probably that may be my smartest decision. 4, what one word best sums up and describes your 2020 experience? Sadness, loss, discovery, surrender, grief. What would be your word? Okay, one word, not a phrase. What one word sums up best or describes your 2020 experience? Kind of take a deep breath and sit with that one for a few minutes. Next, number 5, what was the greatest lesson you learned in 2020? What was the greatest lesson you learned in 2020? Mine is very personal, so I don't want to really share it because it wouldn't be fair to the people that are involved in it. But mine was, I was wrong. I really had a skewed perspective that came from a lot of previous pain and suffering. And I really got it wrong. And so I learned the greatest lesson for me was, I don't know anything about a lot of things, and that's number one. And for me, go to get expert advice. Go to a counselor, therapist, somebody you trust and get a different perspective, because it literally changed my life. So what was the greatest lesson you learned in 2020? Next, number 6 is, what was the most loving service you performed in 2020? What was the most loving thing you did? Was it going to the grocery store for somebody during COVID, or babysitting somebody, or taking them something, or what was it? I know you did a lot of loving things, but what was the most loving service you performed in 2020? And number 7, what is the biggest piece of unfinished business in 2020? What would that be for you? What is the biggest piece of unfinished business in 2020? For me, it has to do with business. It has to do with a company. But for you, it may be a relationship that you need to talk to somebody about, or ask forgiveness, or move to the next level, or you might want to consider, you started thinking about changing jobs, but you didn't, or talking to your boss. What was the biggest piece of unfinished business for you in 2020? And then number 8, what are you most happy about completing in 2020? What do you want to do this year? What are you most happy about completing in 2020? So what did you complete last year? What did you do? I tried to rewrite a screenplay and I never finished it, so I can't write that one down. I meant and I prayed that I'd finish it, but I didn't. So I did do some other things. I completed several things that I just didn't think I could complete. But what are you most happy? What did you complete in 2020? Then 9, who were the 3 people that had the greatest impact on your life in 2020? Who were the 3 people, only 3, that had the greatest impact on your life in 2020? And I know that very, very quickly. And I hope, if you don't, just like I said, take these questions and sit down, really peruse it, and make this list and keep it. I have these back 20 years, as a matter of fact. I have these typed out, keep them on my in Word, print them out every year. We all sit around the table and do it together, and I have them back from 20 years. So it's really cool to keep, by the way. Who were the 3 people that had the greatest impact on your life in 2020? 10, what was the biggest risk you took in 2020? What was the biggest risk you took last year? Then number 11, what was your biggest surprise in 2020? What was your biggest surprise? What was your biggest surprise? By the way, for me, it was our doctor daughter had a baby, and she was always a doctor and physician and, athlete, and kind of not flat, but kind of a, measured personality. And she had a baby this last year, and my biggest surprise for me is watching my daughter, this woman, change into this mother, and gooing and awing and laughing and belly laughing and being in pure joy with this baby. That's my biggest surprise. I never saw that side of my daughter, so it's shocking. But what was your biggest surprise in 2020? 12, what important relationship improved the most in 2020 for you? What important relationship in your life improved the most in 2020? 13, what is the greatest gift you could have received in 2020 that you either did receive or wanted to receive? What was that? What did you really need last year that you either got or you didn't get it? And then finally, what else do you need to do or say to complete 2020? This is about you. What else do you need to do or say to complete 2020? Take your time. Again, like I said, think about these, write these down, and when you have some time alone or with your family. Like I said, we do this as a family venture. You can do it alone, but it's fun to do it. It's rewarding, and like I said, you move through life together. And I'm always into weaving a family together, a mindful family, and these kind of practices, doing this together as a family, can really make you closer, more vulnerable, and support each other. Okay, now we're going to turn the page and we're going to create 2021. Ready? It depends on ready. Here we go. What would you like to be your biggest triumph in 2021? I know what mine is. Do you know what yours is? And I know it's going to happen. I'm doing all this motivation, inspiration, putting pictures up. A vision board. I think we talked about a vision board before. What would you like to be your biggest triumph in 2021? What would it be? 2, what advice would you like to give yourself in 2021? What advice? What would you like to say to you? 3, what is the major effort you're planning to improve in your financial situation in 2021? Are you going to save 10% of your income every month, 5%? Are you going to put $20 a week away? Are you going to open some kind of new savings account, invest in stock? What are you going to do to change your financial situation this year? I'm excited because we are really going to do a budget, and I mean a budget. And I am so excited. I can't tell you. I feel like our finances have been out of control, and we've been a victim of it, and we've got to stop that in our family. I've got to feel some modicum of management or something. But what would you like to improve? How are you planning to improve your financial situation in 2021? Next, number 4, what would you be most happy completing in 2021? What do you want to complete? What is it? What do you need to complete? 5, what would you most like to change about yourself in 2021? What do you want to change about yourself? I know what mine is. Mine's the usual thing, the usual Cookie Monster thing. Mine is my weight. I have got to take this seriously. And especially during the pandemic, I did not do myself too good with Cape Cod potato chips. So what do I want to change for me? I got to change that. But what would you want to change about yourself in 2021? 6, what are you looking forward to learning in 2021? What do you want to learn? Do you want to take a course, go to school, take a gardening course, learn a language? What do you want to learn this year? Get some therapy? 7, what do you think your biggest risk will be in 2021? What will be the biggest risk? Financial, relationships, your health, your house? What would you be your child? What would be your biggest risk in 2021? Number 8, what about your work? What about your work are you most committed to changing or improving in 2021? Do you love your job but want to talk to your boss about staying home? Do you want to take on more responsibilities? Do you maybe want to change work, change jobs? What are you thinking about? What are you most committed to changing or improving about your work in 2021? Number 9, what is one, as yet, undeveloped talent you're willing to explore in 2021? Okay, what talent have you been afraid of? And you've been saying for however long, I'm going to do this. I really am going to do that. What is it? Okay, write it right now. I want you to get a big little thing, print it out, put it, tape it on your refrigerator, put it in your bathroom. What is this undeveloped talent that you want to explore? Okay, commit to it. And before you go to bed, just ask the divine, ask the universe to help send you messages or people to help that talent unfold. Number 10, what brings you the most joy? And how are you going to do it? How are you going to actually plan? Don't wait for it to happen. How are you going to plan to have more joy? How are you going to plan to do that? Part of my plan for joy was like this morning. The goldfinches were coming through, a whole group of them. And I went out this morning. It was freezing. It was 32. And those goldfinches were all over that tree. I stood there for 10 minutes outside, freezing to death, listening to the joy of those little tiny goldfinches singing, playing, singing. But I planned that I'm not going to, it's cold or I'm going to do something I enjoy. Plan it. I'm going out there every single morning now, because it brings me joy. What brings you the most joy, and how are you going to plan for it in 2021? Okay, 11, who or what, other than yourself, are you most committed to loving or serving in 2021? Who? Is it an organization? Is it a partner, spouse? Is it a child? Is it someone who's sick? Is it, what is it? Who or what, other than yourself, are you most committed to loving and serving? And finally, what one word would you like to have as your theme for 2021? What's your theme this year? Is it joy? Is it love? Is it partnership? Is it, what is it? Intention? You're going to live an intentional life? Mindfulness? You're going to live a mindful life this year? Happiness? Health? What is your word? Okay? Take some time. We talked about your word for last year. Remember the one word that described 2020. What is your one word for 2021? What is that going to be? It's kind of exciting. You get to, you choose it. Then share it, again, with your family, your spouse, partner, friend, whomever it is. And write it down, because that's the theme of your life, no matter, because you're going to get stuck. You're going to go in reverse. Challenges are going to happen. Whatever it is. It might be sober. I don't know what your word is. But whatever it is, keep that as your theme for the whole year. It works. It's like your little life raft or your lifeboat, that when you start sinking with life circumstances, you go, that's not part of my theme. Okay, so remember your one word. So break the cycle. It's over. Okay, last year's over. Move on. And this, what we talked about today, will help you complete 2020. Remember it and let it go with grace. But also, you're creating 2021. It's up to you. So, if you have any ideas for podcasts, or if you have anything you want to talk to me about, please go to info@ourmln.com or info@Mindful Living Network. Also, we have a great newsletter. Please subscribe to our newsletter. You won't believe the great inspirational and motivational things that are in our newsletter. Know how much we care about you, and we want to serve you any way we can. Let's go into this year together and support each other and join our community. I am Dr. Kathleen Hall. This is the way I see it. Thanks a bunch. Take care of yourself.